and they are well and strong. It gives them courage for the journey. It gives them hope and strength for the journey. Because at any point they can easily be discouraged, even by a friendly doctor. Not because of you as a patient, maybe something happened. Because I don't have, there's no hope for me. Or maybe a nurse that may have a bad day.
Or there's a strike.
Or there's a strike, you know. So it makes them feel as if, oh, I said it, you understand? So we must claim more that my advice is that let more centers have psychology clinics. Okay. It's very important. It complements the conventional clinic. Okay. Yeah, they're able to interact with doctor freely. We allay their fears, reassure them as a journey that others have gone through, and you too can also go through it and come out with a positive testament to it. So, so I think it's a good thing for us that more centers for that. Then for the support groups, we've had people that actually have been coming with support. They bring money. So in our center, we give them refreshment in Benin. We do that for them. Okay. Yes, and it's good for them.
Okay. Do you do that in Ibadan?
We have facilities for that.
Maybe you can talk more to that.
Talking about refreshment, I know women like refreshment a lot. Yes, is that why the report that we have shows that there are more women who suffer from, cancer than men? Is cancer gender insensitive?
Has no respect for anything.
I'm quoting a figure. Okay. There's a figure from 2020 that states that estimated 78,000 Nigerians died as a result of cancer related complications, and then it says that 44,000 were females, while 34,000 were males.
Women compared to men come to the hospital. Men, you see the way they are making noise about breast cancer. How many prostate cancer did you hear noise about? For men, I don't know.
So they die silently. That's
they don't. But women will come.
Okay.
But men will just silent on the. People are making noise about breast cancer. Nobody is talking about prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer. They do talk about it, but maybe not as much.
As much as breast. So for women will come. But men, I don't know. We don't know for no reason that people just silent.
That's our package. That's how we are packaged.
So do you understand what I'm saying? So those are the things. And cancer, like we are saying, has no respect for age or your social status or your race, or your education.
So how do we encourage the men to now come out? How do we educate them? How do we encourage them?
We continue to make noise through mass, media, communities, religious leaders, to tell people that they need to come out once they see any changes in their body. You don't need to wait. You need to visit hospital. Like DG said, primary area, and then if you have a screening package there, they can link them to secondary institution, tertiary institution, from there. Because screening is cheaper compared to want to manage the disease. And when you pick a disease at the screening level, you can equally eradicate it or cure it than when it is not symptomatic. Because screening means you are just taking people that are healthy, you want to check, So we need to continue to make noise, create awareness that men too need to come out as women are coming out. Because prostate cancer is the leading in men, while we have breast in women.
Beyond making the noise for people to come out for screening, also making it readily accessible is also key. Because I remember when HIV was an issue, I mean, when you get into the hospital, that's like the first thing they do.
Yes.
All right, everywhere you go. In fact, they come to the markets. They come everywhere. And so people got involved, and then people got to know their status. So for cancer, if you have that kind of awareness, and of course you match it with that kind of action, of course a lot of people will get tested, or if you like, get screened, and they would know their status. But talking about how we could solve this problem, Professor Aliyu. We've talked so much about this disease. If people come out for screening and you get them screened and then they have cancer, another block, we already mentioned it, but I want you to tell us what government is planning to do or is doing at the moment, is that issue of funding. I mean, you don't save to treat a disease. And then sometimes, looking at the present economic realities, people cannot even raise the money whichever way. He talked about a particular country that cancer treatment is completely free. What is government planning to do, just so that we can reduce the cost reasonably, and it can be, affordable, and if you like, completely free.
All right. So, thank you very much. He actually started tackling the question, but let me add to what he actually said. Some component, it's amazing you to know that some component of cancer treatment which cut across surgery, even the diagnosis and chemotherapy, are covered by NHIS. The problem we have with NHIS is coverage. What is the percentage of even those that are not suffering from cancer, are covered by NHIS? And that is what currently the coordinating minister for health and the new DG of the NHI, Kelechi, are working to actually drastically improve the coverage, so that at least we can have more Nigerians under that. For long, we are stuck around there about 5 to 7%, which actually is not telling good of me. If you go to Tanzania, where he mentioned, you can see 80 or even 90% of the populace. Healthcare financing is actually not free anywhere in the world, so the country must come in. And I'm happy currently, I think during the media briefing, there is, I think within the span of just this 8 years, we have there about 800,000 increment in the number of recruitment, and it continues to go up because the Honorable Minister for Health and the DG, they are currently mapping out a strategy, a better way of taking it to a remarkable number that the Nigerian will actually get. So some form of cancer care are being covered by NHIS. Okay. The only problem is coverage. We had a series of meetings some few months back with the DG, and what we are trying to do is to bring radiotherapy into that, and radiotherapy too has been inculcated into it currently. So the push should be now to improve the coverage, so that at least even the people in the local community can benefit from that. He mentioned of Cancer Health Fund. It's an initiative of the federal government. Okay. And currently the Cancer Health Fund is under NICRAT. Yeah, it's being co-managed. The NICRAT is an agency of the federal government. Under the Federal Ministry of Health, we are co-working closely to see how we can revamp. It's supposed to say it is a contributory kind of fund. So the government will put something into it, and then the other well-meaning Nigerian, the rich and the business people within the country, can also come and donate to this indigent cancer patient. And we have already set a machinery for that on how to reach out to them.
Thank you very much, DG. Let me just because of our time now, before we round up, let me just bring in Dr. Obo now. Earlier on, he's talking about to have a wider coverage. Earlier on, you talked about the issue of collaboration between the federal and the state government in regards to level of intervention and collaboration. What should be the responsibility between the state and the federal government as regards this level of intervention and collaboration?
Yes, like I rightly mentioned, the infrastructure presently for both diagnosis treatment, they are just inadequate for the country, the populace. And then I also mentioned if I will now have private individuals having radiotherapy centers, and some are having partnership with federal government, like you have in Lutz, another center like UNT as well. So I also believe that incorporating the states will to a large extent help to, avoid this discrepancy, in the sense that each states can have radiotherapy machines in each states. You'll be talking of having as much as over 30 machines. We need over 200 machines. So if state can, what we collaboration, one, manpower training. State may not have the manpower, but federal can help to train these people, train at a level of probably cancer diagnosis, screening and treatment. Like I said, it's very diverse. We have radiation oncologists, we have medical physicists, we have therapy radiographers, nurse oncologists, biomedical engineers. So that's why you have to have that actually makes a team to manage cancer. So it's a lot. You have to train every one of them in that area. So it means that in the area of training, government can actually help to train personnel who can actually support the state in running these services. Why they can partner in acquiring the machines. So when the states, I'm talking about, it's a lot of money for the machines, but they can also partner in sourcing and getting the funds to get the machines and in training of personnel to operate and operate the centers.
Because of time, we'll have to leave it at that point. Many thanks, Dr. Barito Zobo, consultant, radiation and clinical oncologist, University of Benin, for joining us for the conversation.
Thank you.
Of course, Dr. Matthew Jumo, consultant, radiation and clinical oncologist, University College Hospital, Ibadan. A pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So I have two of the very few oncologists with me in the studio this morning. Great. Of course, Professor Usman Malami Aliyu, DG National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment. A pleasure to have you again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you
we do appreciate Dr. Adeoluwa Adeniji, Chief Medical Director of MeCure Cancer Center. Unfortunately, network couldn't help us interact properly. I'm sure some other time will present a better opportunity. Thank you so much. All right, so.
Well, this is where we draw the curtain for today's conversation. There will be more next week. Thanks for staying with us, and do have a pleasant weekend. I am Ademola Adeoye.
And I'm Henry John. See you next week.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Are you a tech enthusiast? Perhaps you want to know more about the devices and gadgets you use. Tech Mode will bridge that gap. Connects great minds while explaining everything about technology as it concerns you. It is Tech Mode. Tech Mode is unlocking your tomorrow today.
Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation, with cultural and media influence throughout the entire continent. But it's facing a conservation crisis. Its wildlife and national parks are highly endangered by poaching and illegal logging. It's the epicenter of the illegal trade in ivory and pangolin scales, with tons of products representing thousands of animals seized in recent times by customs. It has strong demand for illegal bushmeat that endangers animals and risks introduction of zoonotic disease. But Nigeria could be a conservation leader. With Lagos leading the way, Nigeria is updating its wildlife legislation. It's improving its wildlife law enforcement, and it's revolutionizing its public awareness. WildAid and its Nigerian partners are launching the largest ever conservation awareness program in Africa to drastically increase coverage of wildlife issues. Working with government agencies, working with the media, working with prominent Nigerian ambassadors,
report suspicious activity and wildlife crime,
to promote Nigeria's national parks, to promote wildlife law enforcement, to raise awareness of the dangers of illegal bushmeat, and to promote alternatives. Nigeria can go from crisis to becoming a leader in conservation.
So let's do the right thing.
Tell your families and friends to say no to illegal bushmeat.
Keep them wild.
Keep them wild.
Keep them wild.
keep us safe.
And keep us safe.
This is the network service of the NTA.
In Nigeria, vegetable production has become very popular and demanding due to its increasing importance in the diet of the people. Among so many vegetables grown by farmers is water leaf, scientifically known as Thalinium triangulaire, an indigenous leafy vegetable that thrives in tropical regions. Its name stems from its remarkable ability to retain water, making it highly adaptive to various climates and soil. Today's episode on agricultural prosperity delves into unraveling the world of water leaf production in Rivers State, Nigeria.
It's a common name, everybody knows water leaf. It's a vegetable crop that is being cultivated just like fluted pumpkin, but fluted cultivated more than the water leaf, either because of the people have not found so much interest or so in it, or its marketability and all that. It grows anywhere, can grow anywhere, is in terms of its production or growth. Sometimes when you are planting cassava, maize, yam, any other crop, you will see this particular water leaf growing deliberately without you deliberately planting it. Within this locality, as well as south, it is the environment is good for it to thrive very well. So that's why it can be, once you cultivate small cultivation, you start it seeds growing.
Water leaf is less cost effective. It's a vegetable you can go into without any capital. As long as you have land you necessarily don't need any capital to go into. You can scout for them in the wild, irrespective of your number of beds has to do with your strength.
As I started, I don't have any water leaf. I beg through people here, they don't give me water leaf. I go to my tree park, go and pick the ones where they cut. As I pick it, I can select it and started peeling it. Small ones. Only 2 weeks started germinate. As it germinates, 2 weeks I buy manure, started pour it. One reach, I pour one bag of manure. The thing start to grow. Before now I get three farm now for water leaf. I started from 1.
As with any plant, water leaf has different species with some inherent characteristics which makes it attractive to farmers and consumers. It is a short duration crop which is due for harvest between 35 to 45 days after planting.
There are 2 types of water leaf, the domestic and the wild. You know, the wild, the leaves are small and narrow, but that of the domestic, the leaf is broad. And you know, most people who normally cook will prefer the wide one, because the wide one, according to them, they say it does not bring water when they are cooking. But the domestic produce more and more of water while using it to cook. Water leaf is a plant that you can grow both asexual and sexual propagation. When we say sexual and asexual propagation, the sexual propagation is where you use a seed, and that takes a longer process because water leaf is a perennial plant. When we say perennial plant, it takes 2 to 3 years. But when you grow them the asexual method by using the cuttings, the stem cuttings, within a month, you have gotten a full-grown water leaf that is ready for harvest.
From preparing the soil to planting and harvesting, water leaf cultivation requires patience and commitment.
If you deliberately plan and sit down that you want to plant this crop, there are stages, there are procedures you want to follow. Number 1 is, first we call it site selection. Now you choose a particular environment that is good, because not all crops or vegetable can grow anywhere. So once you have chosen a site you are going to plant this particular crop, then you do your land preparation by bush clearing. Especially, let us take 1 hectare as an example. You take 1 hectare, which is 10,000 meters square. You clear it whether by machine, which may not be correct because of the small size, but unless it's a very large area of land. But since it's just something subsistent way of farming and all that, you use labor or you do it yourself, clear the land. Because once you have done the land preparation, then you now do the planting. That's the 3rd stage. You now plant by cutting it into different sizes depending on what you want. Then where you have the nose and all that, then you now do the planting. Some people can do by ridge, some people can do by mounds, some people can use a ordinary flat ground and do your planting. So depending on the farmer's choice of which part of the land or which type of land preparation you're using.
When you do beds, you start it, planting it. When you started planting it, you will the places that it has branches, you don't put it upside down, you will put it from the root, plant it, because if you put it upside down, it won't germinate. When you plant it too much tight, heat will kill some. You plant it where breeze will enter, give gap small, plant it.
Once you fill the beds with your stem cuttings ranging from 4 to 9 centimeters, the next thing you should be looking at is 5 days after this planting process has been done, you apply your poultry manure. That's a preferable organic fertilizer we use, poultry manure, because it contains all the essential nutrients. This is the nitrogen, the potassium, and the phosphorus. 2 weeks after you have planted your cuttings, there's a tendency that it must have started producing flowers. So what you just need to do is, there's what this process will call de-blossoming. You de-blossom this water leaf by taking off those flowers, and because what you're not really eating the flowers, and at the same time again, what you're concentrating on is the leaf. So that's why you have to de-blossom this water leaf. Then on that process, it produces more leaves. Then within the interval of a month, it's ready for harvest.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
Like any agricultural business, water leaf production faces many challenges. Abnormal weather, pests and diseases can threaten crop success.
The biggest challenge we have with water leaf is that, my dear, the planting, because we transplant, to pin each of the seed, the stick, to make up the farm. Well, we pin it one by one to make up the whole farm. Another one is this poultry manure. We are doing now that transport is like this. You buy each bag 500, and sometimes one bag will be one bed. And during rainy season like this one that we planted by March, like the other farm we are now planting again, so that when this rain comes down we can still get it. I have 3 graduates with this business. It's the business I use in paying their school fee. I have one that is going to enter now. I have one that wants to go to secondary school now with this business. But what the business needs is a very big space. If you have a very large space, like let me say 2-3 plots of land, up to 5, you make it well.
The only challenge I foresee, I know, in terms of, I'm not talking of acquisition of land and all, I'm talking of the crop itself. One, there is availability. Can we get this thing in the quantity you want for it to go into commercial production? Secondly is the pest infestation, which I told you, yes, they can be affected with one type of either any kind of pests can be eating up the leaves and all that. Then you have to pesticides, consult the experts. They know the kind of chemical you can use to do the control.
If you spray some of these chemicals on water leaf, and based on the duration it takes water leaf to mature before you harvest, some of these chemicals stays for about 14 days and above. And when spraying these chemicals, remember we eat the leaf, and if you spray these chemicals on water leaf, it turns out that you're harming the general public. So most of the time we advise people to use wood ash, which is the effective way to control garden pests and also snail that normally feeds on our water leaf. And wood ash contains some insecticidal property, fungi property. It contains so many things that helps to control all kinds of pests, especially when it comes to water leaf farming.
The general acceptance of water leaf and its profitability as a vegetable has promoted its high demand in Nigeria, hence becoming a major occupation of many small-scale farmers.
Water leaf business is choice. It's not everybody that can do it, because sometimes you will lose, sometimes you will gain. There's the day you come and gain, there's the day you come and lose. So it's just for choice for you to whether you can do it. For now, we are buying it for 500 naira, and we sell 500, and we take only one from 500. So the gain is not too much. So that's the way we are selling it. It's not too much. And we used to pay ticket of 1,200. After the ticket and the water leaf, you can go hard with 1,000 or 500 a day. So it's just for you to make your choice whether you can do it or not.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sir, this one is 200. Why this one is 100 naira?
Sorry, you say this one is how much?
200, sir.
This one is how much?
100 naira, sir.
What is the difference between the two?
The difference is that this one is dry one, this one is the water one.
You don't sell it 100 naira, this one?
Sir, it's 200 last.
You can just give me one. I came to buy water leaf because we want to prepare the okazi soup and vegetable soup. To my surprise, we are buying it 200 naira. Unlike 2 weeks ago that we were selling it 100 naira. A head 100 naira. Today is 200 naira. So I think it's because of the rainy season. We will use water leaf to prepare okazi soup. You use water leaf in preparing ugu vegetable soup. If you are from Akwa Ibom, we will call it edikangikong.
Actually, the thing is making us to see what to eat. It's not that we gain too much. Sometimes we will not stay at home and tell somebody welcome, and when they come back, somebody will tell you welcome. So any little one you have for the day, you tell God thank you.
Water leaf is not just any ordinary plant. It is a nutritional powerhouse loaded with essential vitamins and minerals. A staple ingredient in Nigerian's cuisine, renowned for its unique taste, especially in Afang and Edikaikong soup.
As a vegetable, it's high in fiber, and when we talk about fiber is good in the body, in the sense that for those that want to lose weight, for those controlling their sugar level, for also those that have high cholesterol, fiber helps to control it. And this fiber we are talking about, soluble fiber, which is pectin, is actually good in the body. So water leaf is high in fiber, and also it's also rich in vitamin A, also rich in iron, also rich in vitamin C. So these are the nutrient contents of water leaf, of which when you consume them, you'll be able to get all these nutrients in them. The aspect of water leaf that is not good is in the sense that when you consume it raw, because it contains what we call oxalates, and these oxalates inhibit calcium absorption in the body. So, and if you eat it raw, you'll be able to get, and this oxalate is found in kidney stones. So it is not good when taken raw. So, but this oxalate is being removed while either blanching or cooking. So when you cook your water leaf, when you blanch it, it means that this oxalate is being soluble and is dissolved. It doesn't have any effect. But apart from that, when you cook your vegetable, you eat it, it gives you all the nutrients required.
Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia Ngozi Opene. Today I just want to show to you some delicacies that you can actually prepare with water leaf. Okay, you can do a lot of things with water leaf. You know why? Water leaf is very healthy for you. Water leaf is good for your skin because it has a lot of collagen. Water leaf is good when you want to empty your bowel, all right? And then you can cook a lot of delicacies with water leaf. You can do water leaf, you can cook your egusi with water leaf. You can also combine water leaf and bitter leaf, okay? You can also do water leaf porridge yam. How? Water leaf and oba. All right, I'm sure that sounds strange, okay? But today, we are doing the soup we call Afang soup and then edikaikong. Afang soup is okazi leaf, and water leaf. Then the edikaikong is ugu and the water leaf. Today I am using dried catfish, and you can see it's been cleaned, it's been washed, properly washed and cleaned, and make sure you wash very well to avoid sand in it. So this one has been washed, all right? Okay, so you know, from the south we have a lot of seafoods and we don't joke with them. So I have my periwinkle. This is the one I'll use for edikaikong, okay? Then we have the one that still has the shell, which is this one, you can see. This I'll use for the afan soup. Now, I have also blended fresh pepper. You can do dry pepper if you want, but I'm doing blended fresh pepper. You can actually do blended yellow pepper. It gives it a lot of aroma, but this is the one I'm using today. I have my crayfish. Here it's been blended. I have my crayfish, it's been blended. I have palm oil here. Okay, you know, I can't cook these vegetable soups without palm oil. All right. So I have the cow skin, popularly known as momo or kanda. I have diced it, properly washed and diced. What am I doing with it? I'm just going to use to garnish my soup, okay, to add color to it. So you see the way I have diced it, all right? I have my seasoning, I have my salt to taste. Okay, so it's time to do the cooking. Are you ready? Let's do it together. I have my meat already boiling, as you can see. It's been properly washed, seasoned, and I've also added the stockfish for it to boil. Okay, once this is done, I will now add the cow skin and then the fish, okay, so that they all boil together. Okay, now let me check the meat. Okay, I think it's okay now. It's time for me to add my cow skin. Then the fish. Remember, I'm making 2 soups, so I'm just going to divide the fish. Now I'll add my crayfish. I'm done with this. My pepper. Okay, let me stir. Okay, the next thing I'll add now is my seasoning. I press to make sure I don't have lumps of it. I am done now. My palm oil comes next. So I think this is enough for now. Now add my ugu. So what do? I add and stir. As I add, I stir to mix them all together. I add and stir. So the next thing I'll do is to cover up to allow the ugu to just cook for a minute, or just, yes, a minute is okay, so that it can bring out its water before I'll now add the water leaf. So this is the water leaf. As I add, I also stir just like I did for the ugu. You can see the